Welcome back. If you're a coin collector or just someone who loves learning about valuable finds, today's video is for you. We're talking about some rare Washington quarters, coins that might be hiding in your pocket change right now, and could be worth thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, thousands. So let's dive right in, starting with a coin that's gotten a lot of attention lately. The Washington Quarter, first minted in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday, became an instant icon. With Washington's profile on the front and an eagle on the back, it's a beloved piece of American history. But what makes some of these quarters so valuable? It's all about rarity, minting errors, and the stories behind them. Certain years and mistakes can make these quarters worth a small fortune. Let's dive into what makes these coins so special. First up, let's talk about the 1967 no-mint mark Washington Quarter. Now, most quarters minted after 1934 feature a mint mark that tells us where they were made, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in 1967, something interesting happened. A small number of Washington quarters were released without a mint mark at all. This error is a pretty big deal in the world of coin collecting because it led to a lot of confusion. Collectors noticed that these 1967 quarters didn't have the usual mint mark, and many assumed it was a mistake. This confusion, combined with how rare the coin was, made it incredibly desirable to collectors. Back then, no one could have predicted just how much value these coins would eventually hold. Fast forward to today, and the 1967 no-mint mark Washington Quarter has become one of the most sought-after coins. In fact, one of these rare quarters was sold at auction for an eye-popping $6,000. Let's take a moment to put that into perspective. This is a quarter that, back in 1967, was worth just 25 cents. That's a massive increase in value. What makes this coin so special? Well, first off, the 1967 Washington Quarter was intended to have a mint mark, but for reasons that remain a bit unclear, some were released without it. Over time, the discovery of these no-mint mark coins made them stand out in a huge way. Their rarity and the mystery surrounding the error only added to their appeal. Now, if you're thinking, I have a 1967 quarter in my pocket, should I start checking it? Well, it's a good idea. While not every 1967 quarter is a valuable error coin, it's worth taking a closer look. If your quarter doesn't have a mint mark, you might just be holding onto something worth thousands of dollars. It's a perfect example of how a small minting mistake can result in a coin becoming a rare and valuable find. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington Quarter stands as one of those fascinating anomalies in coin history. Who would have thought that a quarter, something that's part of our daily life, could be worth so much? So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1967 Washington Quarter, make sure to inspect it carefully. With no mint mark, it could be a rare piece with a story to tell, and who knows, it might be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Next on the list is the 1971 no-mint mark Washington Quarter, and if you've been paying attention, you already know that these no-mint mark quarters are some of the most valuable coins around. The 1971 version is no exception. Here's the deal, most of the Washington quarters minted in 1971 came with a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a small batch of these quarters were accidentally produced without any mint mark at all, and that mistake would end up making them extremely valuable. You might be thinking, how big of a deal can a missing mint mark really be? Well, in the world of coin collecting, small details like this can make a huge difference. The lack of a mint mark on the 1971 quarters made them highly rare and, as a result, highly collectible. Over time, collectors began to notice the mistake, and the demand for these error coins started to grow. After all, a coin with no mint mark from a year when most others had one becomes a unique piece of history that stands out from the rest. In 2010, one of these rare 1971 no mint mark Washington Quarter sold at auction for a staggering $8,813. Think about that for a second. This is a quarter that, in 1971, was worth just 25 cents. That's more than 35 times its original value. The sale of this particular quarter helped cement its place as one of the most sought-after and valuable Washington quarters in existence. So why is this so significant? Well, it's a great reminder of how small imperfections or errors in minting can create enormous value. When it comes to coin collecting, the slightest variation in a coin's design or features can turn a relatively common piece into a rare treasure. In the case of the 1971 No Mint Mark quarter, its rarity makes it a must-have for serious collectors. It's not just a coin, it's a story about how a little mistake made during the minting process turned into a piece of history worth thousands of dollars. If you happen to come across a 1971 quarter, be sure to check for the mint mark. If it's missing, you could be holding onto something incredibly valuable. Coins like this serve as a reminder that in the world of collecting, sometimes the smallest details can make a world of difference in terms of value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, knowing what to look for can help you spot hidden treasures that could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Another rare gem in the no mint mark category is the 1972 Washington quarter. Much like the 1971 version we just discussed, the 1972 quarter was intended to have a mint mark, but a few were accidentally released without it. This small mistake turned these coins into an anomaly that quickly caught the attention of collectors. A coin from a unique year, with no mint mark, was bound to become something special, and it did. The 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter stands out for its rarity and historical significance. While most quarters from that year were minted in Denver or San Francisco, these few quarters without a mint mark created an unexpected twist in the minting process. As word spread among collectors about the missing mint marks, demand for these coins began to rise. The absence of the mint mark made them all the more intriguing, and collectors began to seek them out. In 2020, a 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter was sold at auction for an impressive $3,055. That's a far cry from its original 25-cent face value. Of course, coin prices can fluctuate based on factors like demand, condition, and how rare the piece is, but the fact remains that these coins are considered highly valuable by collectors. While some might think of quarters as everyday change, rare and unique ones like the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter show just how much they can be worth when they have something special about them. So, why is this coin so valuable? It all comes down to scarcity. Most 1972 quarters had a mint mark, so when collectors started noticing a few without it, those rare coins stood out. In the world of numismatics, rarity is a key factor in determining a coin's value. A small mistake in minting can cause a coin to become a sought-after treasure. In this case, the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a tiny error in production can lead to a huge increase in value. Just like with the 1967 and 1971 no mint mark quarters, it's important to keep an eye out for these rare error coins. If you happen to come across a 1972 quarter with no mint mark, you might have a valuable piece of US history on your hands. It's a good idea to inspect your coins closely. Sometimes, a small detail can make all the difference. The 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter serves as another reminder of how interesting and rewarding coin collecting can be. What might seem like a small mistake in minting can turn into a treasure that's worth thousands of dollars. So, the next time you're going through your pocket change or looking through a coin jar, take a moment to check for the missing mint mark. You never know, you might just be holding onto a rare coin that could be worth a small fortune. Now, let's take a look at something a little different, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter. Released to mark America's 200th birthday, the bicentennial quarter featured a unique reverse design, showcasing the Liberty Bell along with the 13 original colonies. It was a special coin, created to celebrate a significant moment in US history. While these quarters were minted in massive numbers and are fairly easy to find, some versions of this coin are worth far more than others. One of the rarest and most valuable bicentennial quarters is the 1976 AD bicentennial quarter. You might be thinking, what's so special about a coin that was made to commemorate the bicentennial? Well, here's where it gets interesting. There are certain variations of the 1976 AD bicentennial quarter that feature errors in the minting process. Some quarters were struck with a double design, while others had unusual die cracks or other imperfections. These small mistakes can drastically increase a coin's value, transforming what might be considered a regular coin into a sought-after treasure. What makes these errors so valuable? In the world of coin collecting, even the smallest minting mistake can make a coin incredibly rare and desirable. A slight doubling of the design or an unexpected die crack can turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable piece of history. And when it comes to the 1976 D bicentennial quarter, these error variations have led to some jaw-dropping auction prices. In fact, one of these rare 1976 D bicentennial quarters, with a unique error, sold for over $25,000 at auction. Yes, you read that correctly, $25,000 for a quarter that was released nearly 50 years ago. It's amazing to think that something so seemingly common, a coin that was minted in huge quantities, can have such a huge value. This shows just how important it is to pay attention to details in the world of coin collecting. A small mistake in the minting process can elevate a coin from being a regular, everyday quarter to a prized and highly sought-after collector's item. The sale of this particular 1976 D bicentennial quarter serves as a perfect example of how even coins that are released in high numbers can become rare treasures if they feature minting errors or anomalies. In the case of the bicentennial quarters, most of them are relatively easy to find. But the ones with errors? Those are the ones that really stand out, and that's why they're so valuable. So, if you have any 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarters in your collection, or if you come across one in your pocket change, make sure to check it closely. You might just have a rare error coin that could be worth thousands of dollars. Whether it's the doubling of the design or a unique die crack, these special versions of the bicentennial quarter could make you a lot of money. It just goes to show that sometimes the most ordinary coins can be hiding extraordinary value. Another coin that's definitely worth mentioning in the world of rare quarters is the 1974 no-mint mark Washington quarter. Just like the other no-mint mark quarters we've talked about, this one is highly sought after and can fetch a pretty penny. In fact, in 2009, one of these rare 1974 no-mint mark quarters sold for an astounding $10,925 at auction. You might be wondering, what makes this particular coin so valuable? Well, let's take a closer look. The 1974 Washington quarter was meant to have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But for a small batch of coins, the mint mark was somehow left off, creating a rare mistake. These minting errors can significantly increase the value of a coin, and when collectors realized how few of these 1974 quarters were released without a mint mark, they quickly became highly desirable. What's fascinating about the 1974 no-mint mark Washington quarter is how such a tiny detail, just a missing mint mark, can make it worth so much more than its original 25-cent face value. This missing mark turns a typical quarter into an extremely rare, highly collectible piece of numismatic history. With such rarity comes high demand, and in the case of the 1974 no-mint mark, it's no different. If you're thinking, well, I've got a few 1974 quarters lying around, should I be checking for a missing mint mark? The answer is yes. While not every 1974 quarter will be a valuable error coin, it's worth taking a closer look at the ones in your collection. If you find one that's missing its mint mark, you could be holding onto a coin that might be worth far more than you ever imagined. Over the years, we've seen a number of Washington quarters break records at auction, and the 1974 no-mint mark is a prime example. Coins like these can go for thousands of dollars, and they stand as a testament to how much a small error can impact a coin's value. In fact, that $10,925 sale in 2009 for one of these rare quarters shows just how much collectors are willing to pay for a piece that holds both rarity and historical significance. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is one of the key factors in determining a coin's value. The 1974 no-mint mark Washington quarter is an excellent example of this. There were thousands of quarters minted that year, but only a small number of them were released without a mint mark. Because of that, those few quarters became incredibly rare, and as a result, they are highly valued by collectors. So, if you happen to come across a 1974 Washington quarter that's missing its mint mark, take a closer look. You could be holding onto a valuable coin that could potentially fetch a small fortune at auction. Whether you're an experienced coin collector or just starting out, this coin is a reminder of how something as simple as a missing mint mark can turn an everyday coin into a highly prized treasure. So, whether it's the 1967 no mint mark, 1971 no mint mark, or the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter, Washington quarters have a rich history and the potential to bring in big bucks at auction. While most quarters are worth their face value, these rare and error-prone pieces show just how valuable a small mistake or unique design can be in the world of coin collecting. If you happen to have any of these rare Washington quarters in your collection, now's the perfect time to get them appraised. You could be sitting on a hidden gem worth thousands of dollars. Always keep your coins in good condition and preserve them, because in numismatics, every little detail counts. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin tips, history, and rare finds.